But if it's things like remembering, okay, if I go to the room and I always set it at 72 degrees and making sure that it's 72 degrees when I walk in, that is more personal, right? But how do you take the infrastructure and make that happen, right? What's the system of record that follows that guest, and that's where it gets a little wonky, very quickly in terms of the data you have and where that data is stored and how it's acted upon.
Okay, I see. And could you briefly, if you are aware of it, walk us through the various ways that this is currently being done? How is information collected, and how is it being stored as of today?
Some firms are able to, for example, if there's a person that has a loyalty profile, they're able to store some preferences. So I'm able to say, I like a room away from the elevator. I like firmer pillows. And because I'm a high frequency guest, I would prefer to have this way of being rewarded whenever I get to the hotel, either extra points or a bottle of water or whatever it may be. So those follow the guest and their profile. From a serving up information about how to convince them to book, certainly the information we have from their profile, information that maybe had from past days, and then information on online buying behavior can kind of go together to say, okay, this is what, it looks like is going on. We can make some inferences about that and try to put together some sort of personalized offer to that guest. So we know that you like resorts, and it seems like you're hunting around in Hawaii, and you may not have looked at this resort yet, so we're going to pop that resort to you, right? And then the booking happens, and then in terms of the guest stay, certainly there's a folio, but that's where I think it gets dropped a little bit, right? If it's not something that's sitting on the guest record that's part of their profile, that connection can be kind of wonky. And that's where I don't think much is happening today that I'm aware of.
Okay, I see. Very insightful. And so, do you believe that the reason, do you think that it's justified that everybody tries to personalize the experience? Do you believe that there's an actual positive outcome in doing so, or this is just kind of a fad and it won't go anywhere? What is your take on that?
I think it's, it's all, certainly whatever you can do to reduce hassle and make me feel welcomed. And reduce friction, that I think will continue to be welcomed. And if personalization is an end to that, then I think that'll be good. And so I think that's where, a digital key isn't personalized, but it helps reduce friction in the experience, right? So, I don't know kind of where the puck's going in terms of, new technologies on the horizon and where there may be gaps today in terms of how does a hotel chain even take all this information and manage it. Maybe there's a way that it does that in a different way. And I think what's also interesting is there's a lot of literature about, kind of surprise and delight versus, just getting the core stuff right. So, I think you could ask, if you were able to be so personalized that the guest says, wow, they remembered who I was and there's my favorite bottle of wine. What does that get you versus being consistently able to deliver an amazing experience each and every time. I think there's debate about, which one gives you more value. Even though the first sounds better, and what I think we all want, that's where I think some of the rust seems to come in sometimes.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So what I suggest that we do right now is that we move on to that little game I told you earlier. That is, I'm going to present you with a list of features that we have in mind for the service that we would like to offer to hotels. And what I would like you to tell me is that for each feature, you tell me, one, do you think that's relevant, and if so, why? If not, why? And two, if you are aware of any other way that this feature is currently being delivered, please let us know, because that's very helpful in both our benchmarking efforts and our understanding of how to price our service.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So before I dive into the features, just a general overview of what we're talking about here. So the service would be, I don't know if you've heard about what Marriott did recently with Samsung and Le Grand, but what they did is that they have these flagship hotel rooms in which they installed